All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to break down this really powerful, systematic way to draw the human head. And I mean from any angle, consistently. The cool thing is, this isn't really about raw talent. It's about having a blueprint. So let's get started. So let's be real, why is drawing a face so hard? I mean, you've been there, right? You get the eyes just perfect, but then, whoops, the nose is totally off. You fix the nose, and suddenly the whole head shape just looks wrong. It's a super common frustration, but here's the thing. The problem usually isn't your artistic skill. It's all about the underlying structure. And that right there leads us to the core idea for today, mapping. Seriously, just think of it as the science of placing features correctly before you even dream about adding your own personal style. This is the secret sauce. It's about building a solid, a container for everything, the skull, the features, so that every single part has a home. Once you get that map right, believe me, any style you put on top is going to look amazing. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with why placement is the real secret here. Then we'll get into the two core blueprints you need to know. After that, we'll combine those to tackle that tricky three-quarter view. We'll also cover the architecture of the features, see how this all connects from the head to the body, and I'll wrap it all up with a blueprint you can use for practice. All right, first up, placement is the secret. And this is all about moving beyond style to structure. We're going to need a little mindset shift here. I want you to stop thinking of yourself as just an artist trying to capture a likeness and start thinking like an architect who's designing a foundation. Exactly. This is precisely the point. You have to think like an architect. You'd never start decorating a house before the foundation is poured, right? It's the same exact thing with drawing a head. We have to build that foundation first, get the structure solid, and all the cool details, they'll just fall into place. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty, the two core blueprints. We're talking about the profile and frontal views. These are the absolute fundamentals. Once you nail these two, I promise you, every other angle becomes so much easier to understand. So for the profile view, the side view, the magic rule is the rule of thirds. It's simple. You just take your basic head shape and split it vertically into 3 equal sections. Now, listen closely. That very first third, that's where the entire face lives. I'm talking forehead, nose, mouth, chin, everything has to be packed into that front section. And the ear, it gets its own spot, right after that second dividing line, sitting comfortably in that middle third. Okay, now for the frontal view. We're going to switch gears completely. Here, it's all about the rule of halves. Why? Because symmetry is king. All you do is split the head shape right down the middle with one vertical line. That line becomes your anchor for everything. It's what helps you make sure the eyes are level, the nostrils are balanced, the corners of the mouth line up. It's a super simple trick, but it's so powerful for avoiding that weird lopsided look we all hate. So, just to recap real quick. For the profile view, you're thinking in thirds, right? That's all about depth and placing things from front to back. For the frontal view, you're thinking in halves. That's all about symmetry and getting the width right. See? 2 different views, 2 super simple geometric rules. That's all it is. All right, now for the main event. This is the one that trips everyone up, mastering the three-quarter view by combining our blueprints. I know. This angle can feel super intimidating. But what if I told you it's actually just a simple mashup of the 2 rules we just learned? Okay, let's break this down step by step. First thing you do is draw that corner line, the one that separates the front of the face from the side. Got it? Okay. Now we just apply our rules. You take that front plane and you split it in half, just like we did for the frontal view. That's for symmetry. Then you take the side plane and split it into thirds, just like the profile view. That's for depth. And here is the golden rule. All your features, the eyes, nose, mouth, they have to live inside that front area. The ear, well, that goes on the side plane, tucked right into that middle third, right after the second line. It's literally a perfect hybrid of our 2 blueprints. Okay, so we've got the width and the angle down. But what about the vertical placement? How high or low do things go? Well, that brings us to the architecture of features. And for this, we're going to use our old friend, the rule of thirds, but this time we're slicing things up horizontally. I want you to imagine the face has 3 horizontal floors. Simple as that. The top third, that's the penthouse. It's just for the forehead and the hairline. Now the middle third, that's where all the action is. It holds the eyebrows, the eyes, and, this is super important, the base of the nose sits right on that bottom line. Finally, the bottom third is reserved for the mouth and the chin. See how that works? It gives every single feature a clear, defined address so nothing gets lost. But here's the absolute best part, you guys. This system, it's not a cage, it's a guide. Once you really get these rules, you can start to break them on purpose. Like, you want to draw a superhero with a massive heroic jaw? Just stretch out that bottom third. Or a cute character with a big forehead? Go ahead and expand the top third. This blueprint is your key. It's the foundation for creating literally any character you can imagine.
And guess what? This whole architectural way of thinking doesn't just stop at the head. So let's quickly look at how we can expand this blueprint, taking it from the head down into the body.
So let's talk about the neck for a second. It's not just two straight lines you draw down from the jaw. No way. Think of it more like a sturdy tube or a cylinder. And the key question is, where does it connect? Well, use the ears as your anchor points. The big muscles of the neck actually connect from right behind the ears, and they flow down into this little pocket that's formed by your collarbone. Thinking of it that way instantly gives your drawings a solid anatomical feel.
Now, what about the rest of the body? To keep your figures from looking all stiff and robotic, there's this amazing little trick. It's a simple fluid shape. You might hear it called a swoopy, but I really like the name sushi bean. It's just this simple, bean-like curve that helps you nail the gesture and the movement of the torso before you even think about adding muscles or details. And this little sushi bean has its own super simple anatomy. The top part of the bean, that's your rib cage. That's the hard, bony part. The bottom of the bean represents the hips, and you can almost picture it like a little macaroni tube that points forward. And the best part? The area in between, that's the squish zone. It's the soft part of the stomach that can stretch and compress, and that's what gives your poses all their life and energy.
Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, haven't we? We went all the way from the head right down to the body. So let's bring this all home. I'm going to give you a final, super actionable blueprint that you can start practicing with, like today.
So here it is, the whole 6-step blueprint for nailing that tricky 3/4 view. Ready? 1. Draw a box. 2. Find that corner line. 3. Split the front plane into 2 sections. 4. Split the side plane into 3 sections. 5. Pop the ear in right after that second line on the side. And finally, 6. Place all your features on the front plane using those horizontal thirds we talked about. That's it. That is the entire system right there. You see, this whole thing, it's not about just learning to copy a face. It's about understanding how to build one from the ground up. You now have the architectural blueprint. So the question in your head should no longer be, can I draw a face? The real question is, what are you going to build? And as you go off to practice, I want you to remember this. It's not about some kind of magical, perfect first stroke. That's a myth. Every single masterpiece out there started with just one single, well-placed line. And the amazing thing is, you now have the tools to know exactly where that line goes. Thanks for hanging out with me today.